Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and young people. Welcome to Multicultural Arts and Media Centre. It's an absolute pleasure to see you in this beautiful venue and to see a wonderful projects that we've been working on. As you know, Multicultural Arts and Media Centre is a registered charity, and we work with hard-to-reach groups, from children to young people, unemployed and older people. We specialise in the promotion of visual arts, training, media training, exhibitions, accredited courses, community engagement events, mental health and well-being, using arts and media as a medium to promote well-being. We are also represented on many strategic organisations like Link for Life, HMRCCG, Social Investment Fund, Health Watch Rochdale, Council for Voluntary Services and NHS England Clinical Senate to promote not just our services but the many works of different organisations from the Rochdale Borough, so they can have a voice and be represented. And of course, arts and media plays a great part in helping people to come together and promote their well-being. I'm delighted to welcome once again the Rochdale Mayor, Councillor Surinder Beyant, and the Mayoress, Councillor Cecile Beyant, and Alex, granddaughter, to be part of the event today. And I'm also delighted Councillor Terry Linden and Councillor Billy Sheen here, and of course members of the community and the participants of the project. This project that you're going to be seeing today was discussed with Councillor Terry Linden last year to produce a film media based project in which elder Asian people from Milkstone and Deeplish area could take part. The aim was to involve the elders by using stylized interview portraits of elderly Asian individuals to tell a story about their life's experiences, coming and living in the area, and perhaps the most important, lessons learned, and showcase the work produced to a wider audience. Number of visits to local area organisations and requests for participation were encouraged for nomination for the film, and given the resources and availability, we have managed finally to put a superb film together. So the project is really an attempt to explore the breadth of understanding held by an ageing generation. Their collective memory is fading, and unique experiences could yet yield a moving reminder of how best to live a life. And I would also like to welcome Councillor Asim Rashid. Please come to the front. Thank you. And we will be uploading the project on the video, on the websites and YouTube, and appropriate links. And along with Councillor Asim, I'd like to welcome Emma Salloway as well from the Rochdale Council on the community cohesion. Thank you very much. So, many thanks for the participants, especially for taking part, because it's not easy to get people talking on the film and to recall their experience and the past, and to put it in 10, 15, 20 minutes of film. But it's been an exciting one, and it's about showing an example how things can be done. And I think as a community, we need to be very proud of who we are, what we represent, and the cultural richness that we bring to the society, both in terms of your professional work, the education, employment, the businesses, resources, facilities, and we can make a bigger impact by sharing this to a wider community. Thank you very much, and I'd now like to welcome on stage Councillor Terry Linden to say a few words. Yes, thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Lady Mayor, Assistant Lady Mayor, and distinguished guest. And by that, I mean everyone around this table tonight. The idea for this project came back to me when I was standing for election in this ward 4 years ago. I knew the area from being a volunteer on many committees, many of them which were held in this building when it was the RCD. When I was standing for election, it became very clear to me all the elders wanted to tell the story. And we could spend with one person an hour just listening, fascinated by the stories I was being told. Then I'd meet the youth or the middle-aged people, and it was the gap. And I got very worried that all the history of how this community in this area came about was going to be lost. And if we didn't get it down on film, the next generations wouldn't know about it, and they wouldn't appreciate what their elders and earlier generations into this town and this borough had to do and have done. And that was the principle behind this. Tonight you're going to see all the film in its full context. When we take it out to other groups, we will be able to look at what age group that is, what they're discussing, and we will edit the parts which relates to what they're discussing. But tonight, because all the participants and the families are here, we're watching it all. It will move you, it will surprise you, and from what was the outcome of it, not one of the participants went on about the hardships they had when they were first here. I'll just tell you briefly one story of a second generation person told me about his father when he first arrived. For the first 6 weeks, until he found work, he slept in the phone box. And then when he found work, if he wasn't on the night shift and couldn't get his head down, he was back in the phone box. And those are the people who have made this town and helped with this community, and we see second and third generation being leaders, not only in this town and this borough, in region and in the country. That's what we need to be proud of. Please watch it. Please, any questions at the end we'll take if we've got time. Please enjoy.
Hello, my name is Mohammed Sarwar. I'm the Chief Executive for Multicultural Arts and Media Centre. I am grateful to Rochdale Township to enable the organisation to record a series of interviews of Asian elders who have settled from various parts of the world to come into Rochdale, particularly the Milkstone and Deeplish area, and to share their cultural experiences, their education, and the contribution that they have made to the society. It's a fantastic video, and I'm thankful to everyone involved. Hope you enjoy the video.
I am Professor Syed Muhammad Hayat, a retired university professor living in Central Rochdale for the last 40 years. I came to England in early 60s to further my education, to have a professional career, and go back to Pakistan to serve my country. At that time, education was the most precious profession for Pakistan as well as underdeveloped countries. When I came here after graduation, I saw good opportunities.
Can I invite the Mayor, Councillor Surinder Bihant, and Madam Mayor, Councillor Cecile Bihant, to say a few words, what you've heard today and what we should be doing next. And can I also welcome Inspector Andrew Riley, who came from a very busy schedule. Thank you, Andy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I watching that film, it just seemed as if things have gone back some time, with Nawaz and Dr. Savier and all these Pervez, they were all working together, we were working together, and it didn't seem as if there were so many problems. There were problems, all right, but the way we sort of dealt with it has been sort of quite successful, and the way things have moved on. I want to congratulate Server that this is the second time in my being a mayor that I've come to a gathering where the Asian women have outnumbered the Asian men in a meeting. So I want to applaud this one very much, so that our ladies are taking an active part in everyday life and in the community. You're doing a grand job, and several congratulations to you as well. I came to...
This is a better event.
Well, I came to Rochdale in 1969 when I got a job as a teacher from Nottingham. And I'm also part of Pervez's background, that I was born and brought up in Kenya, like Mr. Mughal, who was on the tape as well. And I share all those issues with them. And we were a little bit more fortunate that the kind of schooling we had and the education we had and the communities we lived in were multicultural right from the word go. So when we came to Britain, it wasn't a problem for us. It wasn't sort of a cultural shock to us. It's never been a cultural shock to me at all. But once I started teaching in schools, then I began to realize that all those people who had my skin, but they were of a different cultural background. I couldn't understand that. They were all speaking, they spoke Urdu or Punjabi or something like this one. Why the difference? And I found it very difficult to understand what the difference was in me, having come from East Africa, and somebody who's come from India or from Pakistan or from Bangladesh. We were different. We weren't. I mean, we were similar food, similar backgrounds, similar religions and so forth. So what's the big deal? I think the way the community gets divided up is a shame. I think a lot of people have made this point that, to sort of make progress in this world, especially living in Britain, is that to understand and try to sort of get the understanding between different communities, and that's what we are doing. And I think this cultural association here is doing an excellent job. So he deserves another applaud from me as well. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks.
Assalamu alaikum. I just want to say that this occasion has really moved me because I came with Surinder in 1969. We'd both just trained as physics teachers in a college, and we came here. Surinder went to the English Teaching Centre, and he was teaching people like Muhammad Sava and a few who taught you as well, didn't he? I think at one time. Yeah, and I went into teaching physics, so I had a similar background in a way to Dr. Hayat, is he here? Yes, in that, I was second in the physics department, and then I went into teaching electronics and head of the technology and that sort of thing. So in a way, although we're very different cultural backgrounds, it seems, we're doing very similar things. And I've seen all this happen since 1969. I've seen the change in employment. And at one time, a lot of the ladies used to work in the mills. If they didn't work in the mills, they worked on sewing at home. A lot of them were employed. And unfortunately now, we don't have that employment basis that some of the ladies here could take part in. And it is a shame, really, because when you go out to work, you have that community of the people you work with. And it's very good for your mental health, really, to get out and work with other people. So I've seen all this social change, and I've seen some of the things that these elders have achieved, and I think it's terrific. I think it's terrific that you're putting together on a film.
Can I invite Inspector Andrew Riley? We were going to show the second part of a film that we produced with young people, in which the Greater Manchester Police has supported us, and it's called Positive Outcomes and Skills for Young People. We've been working with a group of people from the Rochdale Women Welfare Association and also Freehold Community Centre. Very entertaining, very good. They've learned presentation skills, interview skills, devised up a theme made in Rochdale. Very positive, again done by a BME, a young people's group. And but we want to do that at another time to justify their achievement. I think it would be unfair to just rush it. And provided you will come again, will you come again for that particular one?
Yes.
Thank you very much indeed. Could I request Councillor Asim Rashid to come and say a few quick words for us, what you've seen, and perhaps what you'll see in the future in terms of events like this and promoting the community.
Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and good evening to everybody. First of all, it's really a great effort for Mr. Server to make such a nice film, which we just watched and heard the stories from our great members of the community who just laid the foundations for this integrated community which is in Rochdale now. That journey which they travel from all the way from last 50 years now, we are in the process now where we need to get more integration into the society. This new generation probably is not coming on that level which the way our elders work for this society. We need to improve, we need to work with the new generation because there's a lot of problems now. And I think if you go back, 1980s or 90s or early 70s, there was the problems, but those problems was not like this, which we're facing with our new generation now. The new generation's problems are different probably. The police inspector can explain more because they always face day-to-day problems. It's like there's a drugs problems, there's some other antisocial behavior problems, and there's a lot of other issues coming up into our community. But one thing, if we're working together within a community, not only the BME community itself, if we work as in a separate BME community, we'll be all isolated. As in, I think we should work in a local communities along with all the communities. And I'll urge Mr. Server, if he is making any films the next time, probably they can bring more people on board, just like from the other communities, just like the Irish communities, Polish communities, Bangladeshi communities, because all communities, we all work together. If we are becoming one community, I think we'll be solving a lot of problems in that way. So I hope in coming years, just like myself, I'm a businessman, full-time, I'm in a business, but I'm sparing my time for my community, for my next generation. So there's a lot of other people they're working for as well. So I think there is a more unity we need. One thing is the bottom line, we need a more unity to strengthen our community. Thanks for listening. Thank you.
Maksud at the back, who is a strategic manager for the NHS England, has been very supportive in terms of providing project support for us to work on mental health and well-being, particularly on the promotion of dementia and awareness of dementia. We thank you for coming here. And thank you, Shamshad, for coming as well. I know you had a busy schedule. I want to thank everybody. This is Mohammed Sawa, because I'm at the forefront as being one of the main staff. Then I have Sarah, who's an apprentice, who's been a great sport. Clive as a volunteer, and we use lots of volunteers to keep up work going. But what we do here, it actually takes 4 to 5 full-time job for people to get to this level and to this standard. And we hope to look for your community support, your council support, to keep a fantastic service going. And I want to particularly thank Councillor Terry Linden. With his support in terms of guidance, information, advice, that has set this organisation particularly for the past 3 years where it is. There was a time we could have packed up about 2 years ago, but we sustained it. His regular attendance, his coming advice, and then we had local councils who were being able to participate now and then, and particularly Councillor Billy Sheen. He's never without us. Billy, you might as well start living with us. You've always been there for us and supported us in every project, taking me to the leader of the council and talk to the leader of the council what good service we're providing. I thank you. I think image is very important and you've helped us to build that. Lastly, if I can request Councillor Terry Linden to finish off, and thank you very much from us. Thank you.
Lots have been said. I think we've all learnt a lot tonight. This community gives a lot more than it gets. I agree with the last person on the film. We have to do something about the young children not mixing with all the other groups until they become Key Stage 3. That's not good, and it's not good for us long term. I've learnt something from that. I've learnt something from seeing all the ladies here tonight. I was waiting to see that other film, but I think on this occasion Sarwar is right. Let's give it its own premiere. Let's all come and see it. I've really enjoyed today. We've all thanked everyone. We need to thank the Rochdale Township staff who helped me to get the funding, helped him to put all the grant forms in, and he is hard at that. But we got there. The film took a bit longer. We can edit it to the right people who we want to show it to. There's a lot of people out there in this town and this borough will have a different perception of the Asian community, of what you do for the arts, especially when they've seen it. So I think the money's been well spent. I think we've all enjoyed tonight. We learned from this. We've put it out there. It gives us ideas for the future, for more cohesion. But you know, as a council, I've got to say it, money is very tight at the moment. But where there's a will, there's a way. Thank you for all coming. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
You're supposed to say smile.
Oh, cheese.
Say what?
Rochdale.